don't mind, and I know sex sells, so I don't mind women being sexy. I like being sexy. I like sexy women. My issue is that the reason why Marilyn Monroe is being put on a pedestal is because she's white.
Everybody wanna know, Mr.O, where you been? What you got going on? I'm just living. I'm just trying to get rich, nigga. I'm just trying to get rich, nigga. I'm just trying to get rich.
Hola, mi gente. You guys missed it because he did it off camera, but Mr. O just opened a bottle of champagne just to set the tone of what you're about to see today, okay? Although this will be a debate because I have a little beef going with Mr. O. What are we sipping on, Mr. O?
Clico, this is rich. This is one of the versatile champagnes that you add a little something to.
Nice. The food happens to be my favorite. I feel the ways I don't have, I ain't drinking too. I got my water.
Yeah, I love Clico.
All right, guys. Welcome to On the Block with Jen. If you saw the thumbnail, yes, it is time we let go of Miss Marilyn Monroe. And I'm gonna get into why. And why is Mr. O here as my guest? Because I've seen him on a couple panels and I noticed that he had Marilyn Monroe on his wall. And every time I see Marilyn Monroe on any wall, I cringe. And I am going to get into why. But when I questioned Mr. O on one of the panels, he was like, nah, she cool. What's up? I like Marilyn. So Mr. O, welcome to On the Block with Jen. Let's just jump out. Why do you like Marilyn Monroe?
I want to know why you don't like her. I don't understand. What don't you like about Marilyn?
Wait a minute. Isn't there proof of burden on you? She's on your wall.
Well, what does Marilyn mean to the world, to the culture? Does everybody know who Marilyn Monroe is?
For the most part, and if you don't know who Marilyn Monroe is by now, you've been.
Let me just, Norma Jean. So Marilyn Monroe. Let me just read a little something. Born Norma Jean. She had two different last names. They go by Morrison or Baker. Right. She went through a whole lot in her childhood too. So like, it was a lot of trauma there. So that could speak to how she turned out the way she did. But she accomplished a lot. We have the same birthday, June 1st. Right. And she lived to the 60s. So she was an American actress, model, and singer, famous for playing comedic blonde bombshell characters. Yes. She became one of the most popular sex symbols of the 1950s and early 60s and is emblematic in the era's sexual revolution. She was top billed actress for only a decade, only 10 years. Her films grossed $200 million in the 60s. That's like $2 billion in today's dollars. Mm-hmm. By the time of her death in 62, long after her death, she grossed that by the time of her death. Long after her death, she continued to be a major icon in pop culture. In 1999, the American Film Institute ranked Marilyn 6th on its list of greatest female screen legends from the golden age of Hollywood. And those are all facts.
Nice. Hey, I'm with the facts, and thank you for coming with the research because I love the receipts. Welcome everybody into the room. Hey, Patrice, I miss you. Where you been? Jabari, how are you? You guys know you are free to jump on the panel after I speak my little piece of what my beef is with Marilyn, right? Because Jabari, what's your beef for her, Jen?
For her to, you can literally say today, there were a lot of women that are influential in our culture and getting things done that would not exist without her. Kim Kardashian, I love. There's no Kim Kardashian without Marilyn Monroe. And they both had ties to the White House that were impactful through history. Kim Kardashian and Trump released more Black people out of prison than Obama. I'm sorry, but she did that. She turned that negative image of what the world saw her and turned it to $1 billion and did a lot of things to help a lot of people. And I love what Marilyn was doing. But she was tied to some gangsters. She was tied to two Kennedys, and she's tied to some prestigious people throughout Hollywood as well. So that has to say something when you're talking about the hierarchy or the rank of what the image of a woman should be. Like, no different. I have no respect different than I do for Sade. I love her.
Nice. Okay, you got Sade on the wall. That's one of my favorites.
I wonder if the pressure to not like Marilyn is that thing that most women in today's world don't like, the competition, because she does represent competition for your men. Mm-hmm. I'm sad to say, like a lot of the men that I know, they love her and they would take a Marilyn in a second if she's willing to give them the deal that they want out of life.
Right.
I heard a panel the other day was talking about if Kanye was a smart business decision to marry Kim, and marriage being a business decision anyway, an institution, of course, their network increased. For those type of people to come together, those kids are set for life.
Right.
The kids they have, their kids are set for life. And you mean to take this genius mind and this fashion icon and musical genius and pair him with a woman that has accomplished what Kim has accomplished with those genetics and the management from their family, and how everybody's millionaires, even a couple billionaires in there. That was a great business decision.
I agree.
Right. Okay, and when you sneaking somebody into the White House, man, she got to be somebody special. She got to.
Okay, there's an echo. Is that mine? It sounds so weird.
Let me see.
I think the echo's on mine. Because when I speak, I hear.
Oh, no. It ain't me.
That sucks.
Check your mic.
Oh, wait, there's probably something I'm doing over here.
I think it's funny how you didn't see Sade, who's right there, but you definitely saw Marilyn.
In my defense, your chair covers her all the time, unless you're doing that.
Yeah.
Definitely would have noticed Sade. She's one of my favorite people.
I love her. She saved my life. Her music saved my life.
Okay, so let's get into, I don't know why I have echo. It's annoying that the hell out of me, but hold on a second.
Like you said something the other day when you wanted to talk about this. All right.
Uh-huh.
And you described her as something. I don't remember what you said.
Okay, so let's get into, since we heard why you like her, what have you, let's get into my side. So people are waiting, like, what's going on? So I think, Jabari, you asked a great question, because you're like, what's your beef with Marilyn Monroe? I think that we have to be allowed, right, to suggest something or someone shouldn't be worshipped without thinking that the person saying it has a beef, quote unquote, right? So I don't want you to think I'm anti Marilyn Monroe, but I am anti-worship of Marilyn Monroe, and that is what's happened with her. So
stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro.
So it's beyond, oh, well, she's a beautiful woman. She was a Hollywood starlet. She was in the White House. We all know what she was doing in the White House. Let's not pretend we don't know what she was doing in the White House. She wasn't changing bills or laws. She was in a married man's bed, the president, to be specific. Okay, so that's what she was doing in the White House. Let's put that on the table. Now, her personal life and who she had sex with is neither here nor there. I couldn't care less, right? But we have to be transparent about what she was doing there. Now, other people may say, she was an activist. Her and Ella Fitzgerald were friends, and she refused to be at a club unless Ella Fitzgerald was singing there. Yeah, a lot of white people enjoy Black musicians and singers and what have you, and things like that. Does that make her an activist? In my eyes, not so much when you had Ruby Dee existing in the same era, right? Ruby Dee and Ozzy. So I'm not anti-Marilyn, but I am very much so anti the worship of Marilyn, right? And it is pure worship. She is on t-shirts. There are statues of her that are standing everywhere. People have her on their wall. If you go on YouTube, every makeup artist you see has Marilyn on their wall. The issue I have with that is that everybody does it, even though us as people of color, as Black and brown, as Latinos, as Asians, whatever would have you, whatever you identify as, because there's a million identities now, they all target Marilyn. They all go to Marilyn when we have some of the most beautiful women on the planet that were not only activist boots on the ground, not just because they had a friend who was a singer, right? But were boots on the ground up against the worst of the worst in this country, doing the same thing that Marilyn was doing at the same time that Marilyn was doing it. Okay. Marilyn Monroe is the quintessential beauty standard in America, blonde, blue eyed, and white. Point blank, period. She is the ultimate beauty standard. And that is why she's on posters today and on walls and on t-shirts. And Rita Moreno isn't, although Rita Moreno was an activist boots on the ground, right? Although Ruby Dee was an activist boots on the ground, right? But how many Ruby Dee t-shirts do you see, and how many posters of Rita Moreno do you see on a wall? So that's my issue. Not that Marilyn Monroe wasn't a beautiful woman, not that she wasn't sexy, but let me show you really quickly some examples of what I'm talking about. Since Mr. O came with the receipts, I was like, I knew he was going to be thorough. I know who I'm dealing with. And I love it, by the way.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So here's when we talk about like beauty during the Marilyn Monroe era, we look at Raquel Welch. How famous is this poster, right? This is Raquel Welch. This is pure natural beauty, right?
Yes.
And then we talk about, well, it's because Marilyn is competition or she's sexy. What's sexier than this? Okay, Raquel Welch, she's Bolivian. And then we have Dorothy Dandridge, right? People may say, oh, well, but Marilyn Monroe was pretty. I mean, Dorothy Dandridge. Can
You
I get
stole mine. I was gonna bring her up. You stole mine.
right?
Yeah.
We have pure beauty, natural beauty, right? Dorothy Dandridge. We have Rita Moreno, sexy, 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 right? We have Dorothy again. We have Rita again. All that's sultry. That's sexy.
Yeah, I can give you some more. Diane Carroll, Lena
Diane
Horne.
Carroll, you know what I mean?
I know they out there. I got it, but
we won't see a statue of Rita, Ruby Dee, Dorothy Dandridge, and what have you. This is a statue of Marilyn Monroe, which caused some controversy. Everything that happens out causes controversy, but they didn't want this statue up because they said it was sexist and misogynistic and what have you. That's a whole different show. But so my thing is
and they did that on purpose for that movie. Like they filmed that in New York, that scene specifically to attract that.
Right.
That was done on purpose. I mean, it comes off as she's being promiscuous or like or gaudy or whatever, but no, it was done on purpose to attract that.
And I don't mind, and I know sex sells, so I don't mind women being sexy. I like being sexy. I like sexy women. My issue is that the reason why Marilyn Monroe is being put on a pedestal is because she's white, not because she was an activist, not because, oh, Ella Fitzgerald was her friend, not because she hung out with the Black person every now and then. It is because she's white, because we have other women that were starlets in Hollywood during that era that do not get the praise, that do not get the posters, that do not get the t-shirts. And I'm afraid of the perpetuation of this beauty icon where we're concerned. And it's personal for me because my daughter, who's a very beautiful woman, had the Marilyn on the wall. And I asked her why, right? Most people go by looks, right? Well, everybody puts her on the wall, generation after generation after generation. So generations before me had Marilyn on the wall. My mom's era had Marilyn on the wall. My generation, though I've never done it, had Marilyn on the wall. And then passed down to my daughter because of media, had Marilyn on the wall. Where's Rita? Where's Dorothy? Where's Raquel? Where's Diane?
I got Sade bigger. I got a bigger picture of Sade.
It's not about size. Listen to what I'm saying.
I got you. But like, I just want to say this, like, those women are very beautiful that you named, but none of them like gave you something that you've never seen before. And people came to the movies in droves just to see the term that was created that never existed before, blonde bombshell. That's why she is, like they said, emblematic. And what appalls me, this is what I really don't understand the most, is that like in today's world, we have the most liberated group of women on the face of the earth. Today's time, they're so liberated, and she's the definition of freeing y'all. Like she gave y'all the liberation, the feminist movement, all that was inspired. She's the definition of ripping your bra off and making your own decisions and not letting the world control you. And if you move to the beat of your own drum like you do, how can you not appreciate what she did to pave that road for you?
Okay, again, she's not, in my opinion,
She's not an activist, but she's symbolic in different areas throughout history that were turning points.
But let's go back to what you said. Let's explore that. She was the quintessential first blonde bombshell. Again, blonde is related to white woman. It is not related to black women. It is not related to brown women. It is not related to Asian women. Okay. Blonde is synonymous with white woman. Blonde bombshell is synonymous with white woman. So that's my issue. I think she gets a lot more credit than she deserves. I think she can still be a beautiful woman. I think she can still be iconic, but to be worshiped to me is absolutely ridiculous. And we keep doing it. Why do we keep doing it when we have so many beautiful starlets that were freeing us? I mean, Dorothy Dandridge was dangerous in her role in Carmen. Sexy, dangerous, uninhibited. She was like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So are you telling me that
Lena Horne used to kill it too, man, like with this voice and the act, man. I know, but
we're not, but we keep saying Lena Horne, Diane Carroll, Dorothy Dandridge, Rita Moreno, but she is not, they're not on t-shirts. They're not being worshipped. They're not having 50-foot statues placed anywhere. That is my issue.
They're not pop culture icons. Like Marilyn Monroe is like pop culture, just like Michael Jackson or Virgil who just died. Like these are pop culture icons that you can pinpoint something that they did that impacted the world in a different way that still live today.
Who's pop culture?
Jesus, pop culture icon.
Who's in charge of pop culture?
The masses. The people select what their influences are.
Are you sure?
We select what we're influenced by. Like they present it, but people had to go buy the movie tickets and show up for her to do that. And they did it for 10 years because they wanted to see her on the screen because it was nothing like that.
Okay, so if I'm in charge of, or I run, right, what's presented. Let's say you're on Planet Jen, right? And all I present to you is this pen is the answer. It's the way, it's the catalyst, is what you must, it's what I think is important on my planet. And you're on my planet, right? And this pen is what's important to me. Yeah. Right? If you're on my planet and I control what's important to me and it's my planet, guess what you're going to do? You're going to think it's important too. So I don't think that we should just throw it away like, oh, the people decide. The people are continuously presented images. And you know that. We can admit that. The people are constantly presented images and the masses follow. I don't think it's more so choose, but follow. I think there's a difference between choose and follow.
Is it because she's white though? Do you not like black men and white women?
What you mean, interracial relationships?
Yeah.
I mean, it's none of my business. It's not my bed.
Why her being blonde is a problem for worship?
It's not. No, that's not what I said. Don't.
She's blonde and she's white. It's associated with white, and we shouldn't worship that.
Don't minimize. What I said was that she is being worshipped because the country is white owned. They control the media. The reason why they made her iconic was because the media was shoving her down everyone's throat. They coined her the blonde bombshell. Okay? Mm-hmm. They coined her that. We didn't coin her. Right? We had beautiful women in our midst that were available to us even back then. But the media as it stands wasn't calling Dorothy Dandridge or Rita Moreno or whatever brunette bombshell. Matter of fact, there's no such phrase. Right? But blonde is synonymous again with white women. So what I'm talking about is beauty standards. The beauty standard in this country has always been blonde and blue-eyed. And that is why the perpetuation of Marilyn Monroe exists and persists. That's my point. Not that I have a problem with white women or blondes, because now we're minimizing.
No, I'm saying like it blows my mind. Like, this is their country. It's they shit.
Yes,
Right.
I
They won
agree.
the war. Like, they won the war and they took over this place and they did it however they did it. But it's theirs now. So they do set the standard. That's what
Absolutely.
people need to get. That's what people don't ever like take heed to. Like, we lost. You can't come to somebody. Spartans, when they won the war, they set the toll. They set the laws. They set the standard. They say how things was gonna go. And you come over there, you gotta. When in Rome, you got to do what the Romans do. And so that's just kind of how it is here. For me, it ain't so much Marilyn is what she represents throughout history in certain points of culture that I'm a part of. You know, I like pop culture. I'm in that era. Sexual revolution. I love that. And that's Marilyn Monroe. It sells. It's the definition of what successful businessmen in this country, that's their choice. So they look for. And I think that represents more than just good looks. It represents an opportunity, wealth. Like, because like Kim K, she's beautiful and all these things, but she didn't just rely on that. She used that to do a lot more. And I think just her imprint in history is worthy enough of celebrating. I don't know about worship, but celebrating, yes, for sure.
So I think that at least we're now getting somewhere because you touched on exactly the subject I'm on, right? This is planet America,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Right.
not that I'm anti Marilyn, I'm anti the worship, and it is worship, right? Because she's on more t-shirts, trains, tattoos than Jesus Christ. I think her
Right.
and Jesus Christ are her and Jesus Christ are like here.
I just said that somebody had a problem with it, but that's why we need to stay away from that. But that it's true. I see the correlation. It's the same to me. It's a figure. It's an image. It's emblematic, and it controls the masses of people and how they think. Like, those are the same thing. I ain't saying we have a Church of Maryland, but in a sense, you're saying that people do because of how they've carried her throughout history.
And when you think about it, pop culture, there is a religious undertone to it because like religion, what we deem to be the standard is passed down generationally. Like
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, my grandmother, my mother, me, then my daughter, it's passed on generationally. And what else is passed on generationally? Religion. So it is kind of the same. But when you go through life, pop culture, and it's like this woman is on t-shirts and people are tattooing her. Kids that are 15, 16 years old are getting Marilyn Monroe tattoos,
Yeah.
right? That to
Yeah.
me is a form of worship. You walk in barbershops. I walk in a Dominican hair salon, okay? And they have Marilyn Monroe on the wall. That makes me
Powerful,
cringe.
man. It's powerful, man. For I don't know any other symbol of woman that can transcend all races and cultures and be accepted equally. Like, that's, you got to give her that. If it's in your face, if everybody is choosing up on something, we got to have some truth to it. It's got to
I
be
don't
something
know
there. I don't think we're blindly choosing her because they told us to. I think we generally look at that and see that's beautiful, but no different than I look at her.
But you know what's funny? I think that's exactly what people do is choose her blindly. Because if you ask the average 16-year-old who has Marilyn Monroe tatted on his arm, why do you have Marilyn Monroe tatted on your arm? He's not going to know a damn thing about her work history, who she slept with in the White House,
They don't
who her
know.
friend was. He's not going to know. So it is passed down blindly, just like religion. Right? If you ask the average 25-year-old, well, what did Jesus, blah, blah, blah. I don't even go to church. But, my mama told me this is what happened. This is what I'm going to do. So there is a blind worship and there is a blind following. We can't deny that it is very blind, right? If rappers are talking about, Marilyn Monroe, then people listen, oh, Marilyn Monroe must be somebody. Do you know who she is? No, but I'm going to go get this tattoo because my uncle who's 35 has one and he's really cool. So that's my point, that it's time we stop the worship of Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
But I get that you have that birthday connection. So in your mind, you made that's also a factor where you're kind of like, well, wow, we have the same birthday. What a coincidence. And it is kind of cool. But what I'm saying is that I'm not anti-Marilyn. I'm anti the worship because not only Is it a perpetuation of a beauty standard that's anti-Black and anti-brown? Okay. It's toxic for us, for little girls growing up. What's the beauty standard here? Oh, the blonde girl with the guy, the lady that's singing happy birthday to the president. That's the standard of beauty.
But it's what you do with your gift, though, because like beauty is a gift. No different than a man that's a well spoken, or LeBron that could dribble a basketball better than anybody else. Or it's a gift. These are gifts. Everybody's not equally beautiful to any standard. I don't care if it's a different standard in another country. You're still not going to be more beautiful than Jen. I don't care where you go. Jen's in a different league. And that's just a standard that exists. It's going to always exist. We can't really fight that. I think that's something to be admired. What you do with your talent matters. You can't just be beautiful and sit here and sit at home and do nothing and expect to be admired for that. I would have a problem if she never did anything, but she did some amazing things. And you can't discredit her getting, like, they got a whole tunnel that still exists in the White House. Why? We could say and judge how we want to. She came between her marriage, and she had two brothers arguing over her. And these were two of the most powerful men in the world at the time. It got to be more to that story. And she was compensated for it too. And
well, that's it. Let me
see no problem with that.
Let me push back a little bit. Conquering men, I mean, men aren't hard nuts to crack when you're attractive. I just want to put that out there. So it's really no feat
but
that
the most powerful man in the world.
Yes.
That is a feat.
No, it's not a feat. You know why?
That's amazing. Like,
let me tell you why it's not a feat. That's why so many politicians that sit in positions of power get caught up with the interns. Just because they're in the power.
About getting caught up with her. They do not even care. I'm sure it's other presidents that have done some dirt, but they wouldn't dare bring it in the White House. Yeah, Trump, all of them. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. We can name them.
Most presidents were getting down in that Oval Office. So that, in my opinion, I'm speaking as a woman who I think is attractive. Men aren't hard nuts to crack, whether they're in powerful positions or not. They're actually very easy because they're very ego driven, and they want a beautiful woman, pining over them and wanting them. So it's actually easy.
If a woman can get that close to the most powerful man in the world with that type of relationship, she can definitely influence decision. She can definitely,
absolutely.
That's power. That's power she possesses.
I say that all the time, that beauty is a commodity. I say that all the time. It's influential because, if I'm saying something to you, you may stop to listen. If Whoopi Goldberg is saying, all respect to Whoopi Goldberg, but if Whoopi's saying something to you, you may change the channel. Right. So I'm agreeing with you. It is a commodity. It is powerful. So when you say a powerful man, a beautiful woman is powerful in that room as well. If she walks in, right? She's powerful because now all the men are like, hold up, wait a minute. Right. So I agree with you there. Again, my thing is the worship of an icon that is being worshiped, not only because, she's part of the sexual revolution, but because she's white. That's what's on top of the pyramid, that she's a blonde bombshell.
In a white country, of course, there's going to be a white symbol.
Yes. So that's my point.
That makes sense, though. We're in their country, so it wouldn't be a black, it wouldn't be a Latina, it wouldn't be anything but a white woman to be the standard.
Right.
It's they shit.
Right. So Sweet Lady 095 said Whoopi is unattractive. In mainstream society, yes, she's unattractive.
For sure.
As much as I respect Whoopi, as much as I admired her hustle, let's be intellectually honest. In mainstream America, which is the subject I'm on, Whoopi is an unattractive woman. Yes, she is. It's just
ladies, men do not like dreads.
I don't know about that.
We don't want dreads on our women. We don't. We don't.
All right, guys.
For the majority, not everybody, but the masses, that's not attractive. She didn't even try to be attractive.
Okay, since I said I could, let me ask you this, Mr. O. Also, audience, I'm so grateful that you're here. I see a lot of people in the room. If you would like to join us on the panel, Feel free. I got a few minutes for you. If you'd like to object to anything I'm saying or anything that Mr. O is saying or add to it because you have more information than either of us, feel free to jump on here. I'll drop the link. Mr. O, let me ask you something. Oh, go ahead. And I'll
I
ask
think
you.
I'm up right now, though. We're keeping score. I think I'm up.
You think you're up?
Yeah, I made more points. Yeah.
You made more points? That's what we doing?
I think it's for sure I'm winning this debate.
You think so?
It's a friendly debate. It's not serious.
It's never serious.
Yeah, everybody know me and Jen get along. I love Jen. She cool.
I love Mr. O. That's why he's here.
Type of person.
He has a great personality on panels. So I like to invite people over I find interesting.
But it's a shocker to me that people don't like Marilyn. I was surprised when you said that.
I don't think it's, you see, but again, we can't just say that it's that people don't like her. We can't say that because then then it's like, oh, it's just women don't like beautiful women, which is hogwash. Like you could not like somebody whether they're attractive or unattractive. So I don't want to paint that picture like, oh, you don't like Marilyn. I have nothing.
That's a thin line between like being envious of another woman and don't like the competition versus like just what you're saying. Like you got to be clear because it could come off as like she just don't like competition from white women. She want to shut that down. And
okay, I'll say this. I don't think that, let's be clear. I don't think white women are my competition in any way, shape, or form. Because I literally can go in a room full of Asians, full of white people, full of black people, full of Puerto Ricans, and I'm going to have eyes on me. So I'm not speaking from a place where it's like, oh, she's white, so she's going to get the man in the room if I'm in the room. That's BS, right? So definitely not that. But I think that we should be able to have conversations without it being, oh, you just don't like that person, because it happens to me too, right?
Do women not like to be competitive for the men that they want? Do you have a problem with competition?
I don't know, because I don't compete with other women for men.
See, that's proving you have a problem with competition. That's what women say. I don't compete with nobody.
But listen to the second half of what I said. I don't compete because men chase me. If I'm chasing a man and another woman is chasing a man, guess what? Now we're competing if we want that same man. Okay. But I have unfortunately, I had to look where men are chasing me. So the men are competing for me. I'm not competing for a man. So that has nothing to do with another woman.
That's just perspective that you're saying. But like if there's one man and there's two girls, you don't have to give her any energy, but he's looking at both of y'all.
Well, that's his business.
Right. So you're in competition with her and you gotta not mess it up.
I know, but I'm not competing with her. I'm not, let's say your scenario, one man who's attractive, two beautiful women. I'm not like, oh my God, let me be funnier than her. Let me be cuter than her. He's after me. Either he's after me or he's after her.
He's after both of y'all. He's just the one that's going to give him the opportunity first to get the deal that he wants is one he's going to choose. So you may not say nothing bad about her, but he's looking at who's ever going to give me the deal I want first. That's what you're confident in your natural ability to secure the deal. So you're not pressed by no woman because you know that you're going to move the right way. But it is a competition because when he's not talking to you, he's trying to see what she got to offer too. And at the end of it, he's going to make a choice. So it's still a competition.
I agree with that, but let's just say the competition.
It's not competitive, though.
I don't have to involve myself in.
It's competition, but it's not competitive because you already know that you're going to win. Hi, YouTube. I appreciate you rocking with me. I'm going to continue to make this content on lifestyle, life, fashion, women, and game. But I need your help. Subscribe to the channel, and while you're there, hit that notification button so you don't miss a thing. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, just living is a lifestyle. It's more than a brand. When you start your day, do you tell yourself, one day or day one? Today is the perfect day to start just living. I'm Mr. O. You did. Keep rocking with me.